Alrighty, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. Anyways, today we're going to be doing a CAD lesson in TinkerCAD. I usually use Fusion or SolidWorks, but I figured I'd give TinkerCAD a try this time for our younger viewers. So this tutorial is going to be on a keychain, and the way that I set it up is just to have my name shown just like this. Kind of drawn out, because TinkerCAD has a really nice feature that allows you to draw out using your cursor, and then it extrudes it for you. And this is going to be probably one of the more simplistic projects that you would do in CAD. And from here, you could export it to an STL file and then 3D print it. So yeah, why don't we get started? So as you can see, I just hit create new design, and then this blank work plane should pop up with some sort of name. And why don't we name it Jake KeyChain? Just a little bit about my qualifications. My name is Jake. I'm a mechanical engineer at the University of California, Berkeley. I'm going into my junior year. I'm doing a bunch of research on campus. I'm on the formula team. I have quite a bit of mechanical design experience, and currently I am interning for Procter & Gamble remotely for the Cincinnati office. So why don't we get started? So first we're going to do a torus shape, which is just a ring. And as you can see on the other side, that's just going to be this shape here. And let me rotate a little bit. So we're going to want it to be floating up a little bit, so that way it'll be in line in the middle of the rest of this. And one of the things that you want to make sure of to watch there is, if I were to 3D print this piece, there would be a couple weak points which are likely to break here and here. So I would probably want to move this over to the right slightly, embed it a little bit more. Additionally, make sure that you have a support printing enabled so that this piece doesn't just fall off. A common technique is to drill a hole in this actually, and then just put in a metal ring. That would definitely be more effective. But for this episode, we're just going to be CADing. So next I'm going to insert the pyramids. And why don't I rotate this 90 degrees? Perfect. And then I could do a variety of things for the other one. I could insert another pyramid and rotate it 90 degrees to the right, like so. Or I could copy and paste this one, and then up here is the mirror function. And so then I can hit M, and then I can hit this axis, which will mirror it in that direction. So as you can see, if I hit, let's see, actually, I'll show you in another tutorial the other directions. But as I click this, it flips over that axis, and then I can off-click it, and now I can just pull it over to the right, such that its base is matching with the other pyramid. And that's perfect. So now we can use another feature called group, just because we want to treat these as one object, and that's up here, which can be accessed by using Control-G. And as you can see, it turned red for a moment, and now it's outlined in blue. So if I were to try to move this triangle or this pyramid alone, the whole thing would move. It's now one solid body. And that's a really common feature in all CAD softwares. Most of the time it'll be called combine, but there you have it. So now we can go to the front view, and why don't we move this torus up such that it's in the correct location relative to the rest of the piece. And then we're going to move it to the right a little bit. Why don't we get a top view? Oh, we seem to be off a little bit, so why don't I move it over to there? That looks a little better. Perfect. So now why don't we write our names? And so this is a feature that's not entirely common, I would say, within CAD software, where TinkerCAD allows you to essentially draw out any shape that you want and then extrudes it. Normally you have to draw it out with splines or something like that. But I could also just drag in text, and I could type in this box here and say Jake And then as you can see, it extruded it, but the letters aren't connected, which doesn't make it optimal for 3D printing a single keychain, right? So we're going to delete that and click the scribble icon. And then just click like right here. And as you can see, there's a little preview that shows where you're typing, or where you're scribbling, as it's called. And so now I'm just going to write my name in cursive. This might take a couple tries, so don't be afraid to restart if it doesn't turn out the way that you want. So I'm not too crazy about it. It's not too obvious what it says. I think the A is a little bit off. So we're going to hit clear down here in the bottom left and try again. This time I'm going to use my trackpad instead of a mouse. We're going to go a little bit slower. Give it a nice cursive J. Now the K is a little bit off. Why don't we try one more? This time we're going to do a non-cursive J connecting to the rest. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good. And as you can see, we're going to have to move it around a little bit since it's not quite in the right place. But why don't we go over here and click done now. And now we can reorient this. This is a little box that you can drag around, or I can click in on a certain part that's highlighted and it'll change the view for us. If I also click down on the track wheel on my mouse, I'll be able to move it around like such. It's a little bit more difficult with just a trackpad. So whenever you're CADing, I generally suggest that you invest in a mouse to use with it. Great. So now why don't we move this over here? And there's one of two things we can do. On the one hand, this piece is way too big, as you can see. So I could shrink down these two pieces, or I could make this piece bigger. More likely to be to scale, it would be that these are too big. So we're going to shrink these two down. And so what I'm about to do is I click shift on my keyboard, and then I'm clicking on this body. Remember, this is one body now instead of two. And then I'm going to click on the other one. And I'm still holding shift. And what holding shift does is it allows you to select multiple bodies at once. So you can see how both of these bodies are now highlighted in blue. And so then I'm going to go to this corner here, and as you can see, the two dimensions pop up to the left and to the right. On the left side, we have 20, and below we have 56. And so we could, if I click on this box, I can now go in here and change this to say 48. Oh, whoops. 48. That's weird. Sorry, my keyboard wasn't really working quite correctly there. All right, so now it's changed this and automatically scaled this, which is a really nice feature. On the other hand, we're just going to eyeball it for now, so I'm just going to drag this inwards. We want it maybe this big. And then what we're going to do is, whoops, I accidentally flattened it. So that's something that really commonly happens. You'll accidentally click the wrong thing just because the buttons are so close together. So I'm just going to hit Command Z. And then now I'm just going to move this over here and just drag it into place such that it's inserted into there. And there we have a little bit of a keychain. It probably would have been a little bit better if I came up a little bit so that it was more centered. I'm not 100%. Oh, I can. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw that, but I just clicked on the scribble that I did earlier and I hit edit. So then now let's see if I can. Oh, interesting. So now that looks a little bit more like a J. I might even add a little bit of a flourish there so that we can insert the keychain. And then I'm going to hit done. And as you can see, it automatically updated our render over here. And so now I can drag this, whoops, Again, I'm going to click Shift and select both of these bodies. I might even group them together just so that I can move them easier. And as you can see, anything of the same body is going to be the same color as well. So it automatically edited that for me. And there you go. You have a simple keychain. And if I wanted everything to be the same color, I would again click Shift, select everything, and then go over to color. And let's say I want it to be red. And there we go. So that's how you make a simple keychain with TinkerCAD. Again, I would definitely suggest looking up Fusion or Inventor or SolidWorks. Those are more commonly used in the industry, but TinkerCAD is a great software for just learning how to CAD. It's very similar to Scratch for coding, which is a drag and drop coding software, which you can also check out before Python if you're intimidated by Python. As you can see, there are a lot of other shapes that you can use. There are characters, text and numbers. So there's a lot we can do with that, and I'm sure they'll be covered in some of the other tutorials. Thank you for tuning in. Anyways, my name's Jake. Have a good one.